Namaste, it's Mariamne from Shaman Essence, and I'm going to be going through some deep twists in Upavishta, which is like a straddle, and I'm just going to share with what I'm learning how to improve my practice. Very much from a dance background. I remember being told, pull your shoulders down, and then my tummy would pop out, and then I'd pull your tummy in and the shoulders would go up. So just an example of armoring and instruction, maybe being not really sophisticated enough to change those habits in the brain. Through dance, there was many years of tension and misuse of the body. Not the fault of dance, because I've seen the same in yoga and in any movement practice. And I'm learning as I get older that there's a wonderful balance between practicing inhibition and release and letting go and not doing, and also strengthening and learning how to strengthen as opposed to tension. And because tension is not really strength, tension is actually quite weak and brittle. So it's an ongoing learning journey. So in Upavishta, I've already had a practice for over an hour, so I'm warm. I've did a lot of twists and sitting poses. I like to sit on a foam block to give a little bit of a lift in the sits bones. Some people may need to use two, depending on if you can sit easily in Upavishta. So Upavishta is a straddle. I'm going to put the edges of the buttock bones on the foam block. I'm already warm. I've already been practicing vigorously. And it's not the widest that you can, Upavishta. So it's very important that you're up on your sits bones, and you can, if you find you're really slumping and using too much effort to sit up, you need more support. You want to feel supported. Now, unlike in yin yoga, where we're very released and the challenge is to just practice inhibition and not reacting to that stillness, here we're really working to be vigorous, because you need that strength in the lower body to support you in order to get more space in the ribs, space in the spine without too much tension. So the first thing I do is make sure I'm up on my sits bones and opening the backs of the knees by extending the inner heels away, and then pulling the pinky toe towards me, and learning also how to not over tense the top of my feet when I do that. So it's an ongoing practice. And Urvahastasana, bringing both those arms up, helps to lift the side and back ribs. So there's a nice breath here. It's also really nice, you can't see in the video, if you interlace your hands and push the index up and pull the pinky finger back. And and you hug the biceps to the ears and really open up the elbows and press the ceiling away whilst keeping your throat and your eyes as soft as possible. The legs are very vigorous. They need to be active. Good, and then you can slowly come into a twist. So you can even take a block behind with your back arm and walk that hand behind you, pressing down into the fingertips, so really to lift the breastbone. And I need to actually suck the navel in without causing tension, so that I don't go into overarching the lower back. So pushing into buttock bones, opening the backs of the knees. Now roll that right shoulder back, lift the breastbone, and maybe even bring that opposite arm to the outer thigh and walk my hand a little further behind me. And I want to bring that elbow, my back arm's elbow, towards the spine. So I'm really rolling the back shoulder open and pressing the front scapula with this arm forward by pressing to the back of my palm. Good, and then you release. And then inhale again, reach up, interlace the opposite way. Lift the elbows, and obviously the more time you spend here, the more space you can find. So it's quite vigorous, but not vicious. You want to find that balance of being very active, but not being tense. And then we twist. This is my left, so I'm going to start easy first. Walk even if you want to use a block. So you want to push into the back finger so you can lift the crown, lift the breastbone away from the pubic plate. Maybe you need to have your hand here so you can keep the collarbones wide, but if you have that mobility in your sacrum, you can bring the hand to the outer thigh. And then broaden the collarbones more by extending through the inner heels, opening the backs of the knees. So you can never get bored. You keep coming back to what's going on with your whole being. Every hair on your body is part of what you're doing. Everything is interactive. Nothing is overworking. Good, and you come all the way back up again. Very good, and then you can release. Now I'm going to bring my left heel in. And it's probably not a good idea to be too wide. And if you have issues with your knees, which I do with my right knee, I usually put a little support under the knee so I don't pull on the torn meniscus, which I haven't operated on. So I just want to keep building the strength there. So once again, I'm twisting towards the leg. You can also Upavishta, I'm bringing both arms up, twist again away. So you feel this in the lower back, although the twist is mostly in the thoracic spine and the neck. You'll feel how one sit bone goes forward, one sit bone goes back, and Upavishta again, and twisting this way. So this can be repeated again on the other side. And this is where I do like to bring a little support under the knee. Upavishta, reaching up, 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 twisting. Let's be easier to twist towards the bent knee probably first. Lifting the crown, lifting the breastbone, lifting the navel, softening the throat and the jaw and the eyes, and inhaling and twisting again the other way. This can also be done with straight legs. It doesn't have to be with the bent knee. There are different variations here. So the next phase, and it'd be nice actually to spend a full minute in each one, so that you can really find space and opening and strength. The longer you stay, probably a little better. So now I'm going to hinge at the hips rather than bending the back. Hinge at the hips, and some people will need to take a belt so they don't bend the back, and bring the arm to the outer calf. And then roll that back shoulder back, so you're broadening the collarbones, the space between the shoulders and armpits. Back of the head is soft. And you can come a little lower down. And this is encompassing the whole self, remember. Any sensation in the knee that's uncomfortable, remember to give yourself a little bit of support. So you don't feel this in your ankle or your knee. And you can even press this backhand out to the side so you can really get that lovely lift and extension. Remember not to pull your chin forward, to lift from the navel, the breastbone, and the back of the head is a bit like a helium balloon. It's nice and soft and buoyant. And then we're going to change that to the other side. Not too wide with the legs. So you're not quite at 90 degrees. Ideally, you're a little bit more open, depending on your lower back's health. Reaching up. I like to counter twist first. And feel what happens in your sacrum. How the long leg sits bone comes back and the bent knee sits bone comes a bit forward in relation to your space, bringing the hand to the outer thigh. And then slowly hinging like a compass, rather than bending the back, which popped my knee out. My knee did not like that, bending of the back. So I'm going to give it a firmer support there. So I am very mindful of injuries, and I don't want to armor them, so I give them support. Because the knee is, it doesn't ever forgive you. Once you've hurt your knee, it doesn't really heal up. So you have to really get it strong. And it's because my hips are tight in a certain way. My body doesn't like full lotus. It doesn't, but it doesn't mind Upavishta, it doesn't mind straddle. But as soon as the knees are bent and one leg is overlapping the other leg, it's a complete different angle for the trochanter in my hip socket. So I don't do full lotuses, I just do half lotuses. I don't force myself. When you're younger, you can get away with those things. When you get older, you have to be even more mindful. Okay, so taking this to where I'm wanting it to go eventually. Once again, twisting. You can bring the arms up, of course, to get that lift in the trunk. Always a good idea. And now I'm going to hinge. Now I want to roll the top shoulder back. I've already done Trikonasana, triangle pose, Ardha Shankrasana, half moon pose. I've done a whole bunch of stuff already to get my body ready for this. I'm not collapsing down. I'm lifting up by activating the legs. And I'm going to reach either with the belt holding the foot to the big toe. rolling the top shoulder back by lifting the breastbone, pushing down into the sits bones, and then I'm going to bring my arm behind me. So I can really roll the trunk. And to not hurt my back, I have very active legs. So I am supported like a tripod. And then slowly bring the arm over. And for me, sometimes I need to do little movements to sort of soften the fascia. I even have my finger here in my ear, and I'm sort of opening up in the tricep here. And rolling a little forward, a little back, not because moving for the hell of it, just moving to encourage the softening of the fascia. And when I feel ready, you know, I don't want to collapse forward, I want to open up here. Or I don't want to collapse down either. There's a lifting of the breastbone, which is very, very often neglected in people's asana practice. They're losing a lot of opportunity by collapsing into poses for the sake of looking or feeling flexible. So it's almost like I'm coming out of the flexibility and focusing more on my strength because I'm a little too flexible and a little too weak, and I want to build more strength. And maybe slowly inhaling, exhaling, coming out of that one. Of course, we're going to repeat that on the other side, and it will be very different on this side. And this side, definitely want to protect that ex-torn meniscus, which is what happens when you try too hard, or you have an instructor who's not very mindful, and you try to keep up with the class. It was, I think, a very acrobatic dance class, and I got injured. I was furious. And I never had the operation on the knee, but I'm coping really well. It doesn't pop out or dislocate anymore as much as it used to. So you're bringing your hand, you're holding the belt around the ball of the foot or reaching for the big toe. Rolling that top shoulder back, opening the back of the knee, extending the inner heel away from the groin. You can never get bored because keep checking in. Am I broad and soft in the collarbones? Is my neck soft? Are my eyes soft? Am I breathing with ease? Am I lifting the breastbone? And I wait until I feel ready. Sometimes it's about reaching up to get that lift. And then I want to take that ear again because none of my teachers teach me this, but this is something that I sneak in because for me, it works for me. Sometimes even pulling on the hair to release any tension, just to show the bones and the fascia that everything's connected. So I'm deeply twisting with a very strong foundation of pushing down from the lower body into the earth, and the heart space lifting up. And then you can take the pinky toe side of the foot. And, you know, I don't want to collapse here. I think I got away with that for a long time. You won't get away with it eventually. You want to get that lovely lift. And that feeling of strength by push-pull, pushing into the ball of the foot and pulling with the hands. Maybe if you need to let go, if it hurts the neck, don't try too hard. But really broadening the shoulders and rolling that top shoulder back, lower trunk forward. Take your time. Give yourself a few more breaths to soften without collapsing. And then inhale, exhale, coming out of it. So my body likes those poses, but then there are poses that I don't like. But as you start to experience them and understand them better, you get your confidence and you get into that wonderful state of bliss that you can get through your asana practice. So now this is not my favorite. I'm going to make my legs a little bit more narrow. As I'm going to, maybe you want to use a block. I'm going to bring now the elbow to the outer calf. I see my knee wants to lift, so I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to support that. So there's that sense of twisting that we did already, coming down and reaching for the pinky toe with the pinky finger to the ceiling and thumb to the outer heel, outer arch. And it takes me a little while here to find, without force, a sense of opening up and twisting. You can even bring this hand behind you. So it's very much something in the sacrum and the SI joints that needs to accommodate this. And then I'm going to reach that top arm up and over. And again, I need to sort of make sure I'm not tensing up in the neck. Reach for the big toe. And as you can see, I'm collapsing. This is very challenging for me to get that lift and that lower trunk going forward and upper trunk going back. And the pressing of this elbow into the outer calf can help. So this here, there's a lot of room for improvement, but it doesn't matter. This is where I am right now. Can I breathe? Can I soften? And slowly come out of it. Woo. And then let's just do the other side. Last thing, then we'll come forward. And again, I'm going to give my knee some support. Maybe I need the block on this one. Not too wide with the legs. So feel how the sits bones move. Wow, that in the knee. A little kadunk as it pops out. Sits bones need to move. Come to the outer leg. Roll the top shoulder back, lower trunk forward, and hinge at the hips. So I'm doing my best not to bend at the back, but to lift the breastbone, even if it means not coming so low. And then this side is my challenging side, bringing the elbow to the outer calf. Now I can feel that in the knee. I can feel my injury going, I don't like this because I'm overworking in one place instead of another place by habit. So I'm very, very careful, very mindful not to force anything. This side will be a different experience from the first side, and that block under my knee is definitely saving my hip and my knee. And then I'm going to reach this top arm over, and I can feel my lower shoulder is really working too hard. It's overworking. So I'm just going to take my time, activate the legs more, lift the breastbone more, and then reach. And yeah, this is not really happening for me today, so I'm not a good example here. I'm human, and I'm going for it, and I say, okay, that's enough. I'm not going to do any more on that one. Opening the back of the knee. Inhale, reaching up. Coming forward. So once again, it's the breastbone moving away from the pubic plate, the back of the head, soft. I'm going to bend my knees and thread my arms through. I can't interlace or bind behind me, but my challenge here now is to extend the breastbone forward and broaden the collarbones. I'm really active in the legs to protect my groin, to protect my shoulders, and slowly release out of it. And there's my little hallelujah moment. Thank goodness I'm out of that one. I hope there was a few tips there that are helpful for your asana practice. Thank you.